children's plot. The smaller spacing between the tiny headstones leaves much more room for emotional impact. The loss of a young one always leaves a much bigger hole. Perhaps that is why Kaslo is a valley. Too much innocent death has carved a crater in those mountain ranges, one we Kootenay folk carry in our hearts. We have all buried too many humble bodies under tiny headstones with smaller spacings, much like these are laid out here in Prince George, a decaying garden of life that lost its bloom too quickly. So I wrote that at the Prince George Cemetery, but I'm actually at the Kaslo Cemetery today visiting with a friend of mine who was taken too soon. And yeah, when I wrote that poem, I had my dogs, and I was pretty new to Prince George, and I was just looking for a quiet place to walk, and I felt drawn to the graveyard. And that was a little strange to me. And when I went there, I felt so at home and at peace. And as I said, it felt a little strange to me, like you shouldn't feel at home in a graveyard. But maybe I shouldn't talk about this on camera, but in Kaslo, when we were teenagers, sometimes we used to come up to the graveyard to party. We were always respectful, but there are at least 10 or 20 of my friends buried here that were buried here at that time. So we wanted to come and visit with our friends, and we would come and play music at their graves and all that kind of stuff, and just visit with them. And yeah, I guess maybe part of the reason that I wanted to read this poem is, well, because I was in Kaslo and it just seemed fitting, but also because I know that suicide rates and depression have really gone up since the pandemic started. And I don't know, social media is good, but at the same time, it's not enough. Like, I hope everybody realizes that you have to check on your friends. And when I say that, I mean, show up or make a phone call, make a real connection with your friends and make sure that they're okay. And don't wait for them to reach out to you. As somebody who's been dealing with depression and anxiety, reaching out to people is one of the hardest things to do when you're in that place. So yeah, reach out to your friends even before you think there's a problem. If they're your friends, they should be important to you and something that you put time into. That's definitely the way that I operate in my life. Even with my friends that are no longer here, I'm putting time into spending time with them because it's important to me. Because yeah, even when we lose people, you know, according to what I believe, we are all energy, and you know, that energy is never really gone. You can still hear it in the birds chirping around you and see it in the trees growing around you and feel it in the sun. So yeah, that was a pretty depressing video, I guess, so I'll try to leave it on a good note of, yeah, just check on your friends, use your energy to spread good around this planet, because it really needs it. Because, you know, as much as it can be nice to visit our friends at a graveyard, it's a lot nicer to visit them in person. So yeah, like I said, use your energy to do good things, check on your friends, and that's about it. Panoptical Poet out.